One word to describe crit racing?
One word to describe crits.
I have no idea.
Chaos.
Fast.
Fascinating.
Fun.
Wild.
If the road race is the symphony or a rock and roll concert.
And these are the moments that we've been waiting for as we've assembled the gladiators of the road, the hit out. We've asked Houston for the launch code. They've approved it, and it's now time to hit the go button. And here we go in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Andiamo!
Criterium racing really developed in America for a few reasons. The first is that it's much easier to put the race on. For a long time, criteriums happened out of necessity in the United States, but then that kind of morphed into the Americans owning that style of racing. And then we started seeing international riders come over. There were races like a series called Super Week, where we would see big international teams come race Americans in criterium races. And that sort of set off this ownership of crit racing because the Americans finally found something that they could beat the Europeans at. And we finally had something that was ours.
Final 100 meters as we come out.
Here comes Justin.
Justin on the outside. He's up next to Danny Summerhill. Justin is coming up and around, and Justin Williams, ladies and gentlemen, repeats as a champion here on Friday night at Blue Dome with Dawson Duff, showing us how it is won.
Let's go! Legion of Tulsa, boy! Let's go!
I think crit racing is its own thing. I don't think it should be compared to road. I think it should be as different as cyclocross is to mountain biking. And it's short form. It's very intense. It captivates the American audience because it's happening so fast. It's happening in front of you. You're watching your race unfold every lap.
Criterium racing has everything that you need to make a great story. And those stories happen all the time, every weekend, across the country. The thing about crit racing is that it allows us to sort of view those stories through the lens of bike racing.
Now turning our attention to the sprint competition.
I started racing crits in 2014. I actually started really getting into cycling on the fixed gear side of things. And as I started doing that, I thought, what's really probably cool? Coasting. So I got a road bike and started riding a lot. And I just had people tell me, you should try bike racing. You might be good at it. And I was terrified.
Kim Lucci is one of the great personalities of the peloton.
And now, a highlighted rider to watch tonight. Racing in the American Criterium Cup green jersey as our dominant rider in the sprint competition. This is Kim Lucci!
So the American Criterium Cup is a series of 10 individual events across the country. Riders race for points based on how they place, and then whoever has the most points at the end of the season is crowned the overall ACC champion.
Big ask. You really get a good look at it from that camera angle as they make their way onto the home finish stretch. Here's Lucci starting to open up the sprint against Praderas for the Disruptors. Lucci going to go clear to the front, and she'll hold on for maximum points, going to widen her lead in that green jersey competition for the American Criterium Cup.
There's also a green jersey sprint competition where riders race for points midway through the race, and then also 7 laps in, and it's 7 laps to go. So very similar to the green jersey in the Tour de France. It's an intermediate sprint competition.
I would think DNA is probably just wanting to cover or maybe use this as a counterattack. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't try to make a move after this sprint.
So this season was a bit unique for me in that At the second race in the ACC in Anniston at Sunny King, our director told me that he wanted me to go for green jersey points that night.
But DNA may be a little better positioned because they'll be able to steal this lead out.
When you get a chance to go for a jersey or a win at a bike race, you know, it's definitely like you feel the pressure.
That'll open the gap, and now DNA gonna go at it. I believe this is
Kim Lucci
gonna go at it. So DNA and ButcherBox will go to the line together. Lucci will take maximum points.
For our podium for the American Criterium Cup after 2 stops, your sprint leader for DNA Pro Cycling, make your way up there, Kimberly Lucy. She's your current sprint leader in the American Criterium Cup.
There were 3 sprints in every single race, but your overall winner got the lead and never looked back, Kim Lucci.
I'm not gonna let it go to my head. I'm still gonna be for the people.
The fans in criterium racing really vary, I think, depending on the race and the city we're in. Most notably, you could expect some of the craziest fans you'll ever see when we race in Tulsa. The people that come out to support us and cheer for us are hands down some of the most fun people to race in front of because they go absolutely apeshit, and I love it.
Crybaby Hill is one of the wildest crits of the year.
The cities that typically welcome criterium racing often have a little something unique about them. Tulsa, Oklahoma is a great example. If you've ever been to Crybaby Hill, you really understand the uniqueness of a city like Tulsa. And it's a good example of what criterium brings out and what brings riders to these cities.
Crybaby Hill's a block party, and there's a race that happens to be going on.
Crybaby Hill!
Crybaby Hill!
Crybaby Hill!
I think a lot of times people don't even know bike race is happening on Crybaby Hill. They just know that there's a giant block party. They're gonna have a good time and probably ruin their shoes.
It's essentially a day drinking party with lots of partially naked human beings that I'm not even sure know what bike racing is.
Like, if you're familiar with cyclocross, this is our cyclocross.
I'm standing live.
Like, it's nuts. It's nuts. But it is all the fun things about crit racing in one race.
Best race ever. There's nothing like criterium racing in the United States. If you've never been to one of these, you've got to check it out. Most exciting 20 minutes of bike racing. Most exciting 20 minutes of sport anywhere.
I started working in the sport when I was 15 years old as on the fence crew. I was throwing fence as my summer job, and I saw my first criterium without having ever seen a bike race before and absolutely fell in love with it.
This is the breakaway's worst nightmare because now the teams are starting to send big riders forward to the front and they will slowly start reeling this back in. So I think this field has the breakaway right where they want them at 6 laps to go. You don't want to make the catch too early, but you don't want to wait too late. It's the fine art of chasing a breakaway in a criterium.
My job is mostly as a teacher. Criterium racing is new for a lot of people, and so whenever we go into a city, my job is to teach as many people as I can about the sport of bike racing that I love. And I always say, once you understand what's going on, it's the most beautiful sport in the world.
This will be a sprint finish tonight, and if you are new to bike racing, welcome to the most exciting 20 minutes of racing. There is nothing like this in sport. The Criterium sprint finish.
The last 10 laps of the race is where you really figure out whether or not the breakaway is going to make it or not. And that is a crucial point in the race, because if the breakaway isn't going to stay away, then it's time for the sprinters teams to come forward. At 5 laps to go, the teams are usually pretty organized. That's where you start to see the classic trains. It's one of the most beautiful things in sport at 5 to go, when we see all the different trains lined up and wondering who's going to control it 1 lap to go. Into the last lap, it's total chaos. All of the organization of 5 to go is gone. Teams are starting to fall apart. The trains are moving left and right. Riders are falling off. They're getting gapped. Any plan that a team or rider had is usually gone by that point. And so at 1 to go, you're just watching the team scramble to try to figure out how to win the race in the new scenario that they're given. Whatever happened over the last 4 laps is out the window, and it's sort of everyone for themselves.
When I was, I think, 4 or 5 years old, my parents, when they brought my little sister home from the hospital, they gave me a bike as a consolation prize. From that moment on, I was pretty much on 2 wheels. I don't think that my parents pushed me by any sense. They just sort of nurtured whatever sport that I was into at the time. But I know that my mom was definitely a cyclist and has been a cyclist for, most of her life. And I would say I definitely really got into bike racing probably because of her. For a number of years, I've actually had an alternative training tool, but this last year or 2, I've been taking care of my dad, who has Alzheimer's, so he lives with me, and instead of going out and training outdoors for a couple of hours, I've actually had to rely on training on a treadmill, all the while being close to home, so in case I'm needed by my dad. So I think that that's really been a big question mark for this year, is how does preparation like that, which is very exclusively training indoors a lot of the time, how's that gonna be?
Born in Inglewood, Colorado, with a 3rd at Tulsa Tough and Bailey Glazer, a 2nd in Athens, a 1st in Salt Lake. He is 1st overall, not only in the overall ACC, but in the sprints. Riding for the American Cycling Group, Danny Summerhill.
Wow, the prodigal son.
I'm definitely have historically always been a lead-out rider, but this season actually was a little unique in that we lost our team sprinter earlier in the year, and it just sort of opened the door for me to start sprinting.
Disruptors, ACG, and Miami Knights onto the home stretch. As now they open up the sprint. Summerhill going to be first to go. He'll have Martinez
a little bit
on his wheel. See if anyone can catch Summerhill to the line. Rodriguez won't get there, and Danny Summerhill wins in Salt Lake City. He will widen his lead in the ACC with a great ride to the line, a powerful sprint.
We're right next to the old Tulsa Theater, which was built in the early 1900s. It's got a great acoustic system, but we're in the corner that's called the fastest corner on criterium racing in the United States. And I'll tell you what, I'm looking at this and saying, I'm glad I'm not out there.
One of the biggest successes of the season early on was winning one of the days of Tulsa Tough.
Ooh, second night at Tulsa is all about the last corner. You got to win the last corner. You got to be first or second through that. It's probably the fastest last corner in bike racing in the U.S. So yeah, it's whoever has the grit to go through it without brakes.
We know how to fly around corners. We know how to be able to take the risk, and we know how to go fast. Some of the best sprinters are on American cycling teams.
Honestly, if there were a Criterium World Championships, I'm putting my money on that an American will win. We are so good at crits. There's crits all across the United States. Doesn't matter if it's in a big city, a small city, industrial town, downtown Tulsa, Oklahoma. Criterium racing is in our blood. And you know what? Maybe it's time for us to have a World Championships of Criterium racing here at the Tulsa Tough.
A lot of people like to call it America's fastest corner.
Going downhill, but we are pushing full watts. Ty checks the shoulder. He says, oh my goodness, where did everybody go?
We're definitely going all out into this downhill left-hand corner.
This is now soft pedaling way far back. Legion of Los Angeles has sacrificed their entire train.
In front of God knows how many fans in Tulsa.
Wagner tries to jump back in, but
somebody's got to go. Somebody's got to go. Somebody's got to go. He's all in. He's all in.
Here's the jump, and it's going to be Summerhill. Summerhill's got the first wheel out of the turn. Can Danny Summerhill come to the line? Summerhill checks through the shoulder. Summerhill coming to the line, and Danny Summerhill, ladies and gentlemen, will take tonight. Here, the skip rain of Tulsa.
Let the celebration begin! American Cycling Group and Danny Summerhill. We're going to grab a word with our winner, Danny Summerhill. Danny, on stage we've been talking about the times that you've gotten second, looking over the shoulder, looking the wrong way. This time you were looking under your shoulder, but more importantly, what does it mean for you to be able to take a huge win here on day number 2 at Tulsa?
Currently without words. This means a whole lot for a lot of reasons. Wow. Pretty cool.
One of those reasons I believe is because your mom and dad are having health problems, and so you've been balancing taking care of your parents, balancing training, your love of cycling. No one can question that, but try to put into words what this win means for you.
Oh yeah, I mean, a lot of it's just so crazy because I didn't even know how much of the season I'd be able to participate in. My dad has Alzheimer's and I take care of him. So it's been a blessing to have a team as supportive as this that can let me come in and out of races, and to actually have a good season with all that we have going on behind the scenes at home. It's obviously special and something I did not anticipate going into this year.
Race was hectic. Wasn't sure if it was gonna split up or not, but those last couple laps, you just see guys popping, and I saw Danny was feeling good, and the harder the race, generally the better it is for Danny. So I was confident in him, and he took that last corner and mocked Jesus, and that's all it took.
I did not expect anything like this season to unfold.
10 races, and now it's the final one. Your overall. After 3 races in, Danny Summerhill never looked back. Your ACC champion. He wrapped it up a race ago and he finalized it today. Please welcome Danny Summerhill.
Criterium racing often exists in a very diverse set of cities and neighborhoods. You have places like Indianapolis, Indiana, big capital city, Boise, Idaho, right in front of the state capitol. And then you have smaller races like Lake Bluff, which is in a neighborhood. Or maybe you go to Athens, which is on basically a college campus down at the University of Georgia. So it takes us to a lot of really unique cities in America. It gives you a sense of what America is truly like, because this is not the America that you see on TV. The cities that we're going to for the American Criterium Cup and the courses that we're racing on are genuine, authentic American courses.
It's kind of crazy to me how receiving these like small towns or these cities are. Definitely like it's a 10 race series. And within those 10 races, some of the races are multi-day. And so you're seeing a lot of different cities, a lot of different suburbs, but you definitely like, you travel a lot. There's a lot of places that I've been, like Anniston for Sunny King. I would probably have never visited Anniston, Alabama, if it were not for that race. But that is a super cool city. And you don't really know these things until you go.
My name is Alexis Ryan. I race for Legion of Los Angeles. I live in Athens, Georgia, and I'm here now in Anniston, Alabama for the Sunny King Criterium. I mean, racing in the South, in small towns, criteriums is pretty special. A criterium is a uniquely American sporting event, and to do it in these small towns, usually the entire community gets behind it. So it feels like a family community event. You've got everybody out there, all the families, all the kids, all ages, like out there to watch, and they're there all day long. Like that's the thing that they do on Saturday, is they come and watch the bike race in their town that, has become part of their history.
It is going to be the highest energy Anniston has seen since last year at this race. It's amazing. You are going to have all kinds of vendors here, but that's not the good part. You get to see all these international teams, locals, all racing. It's just amazing.
Ryan, Salazar in that order. And Legion, just like that, has taken back over the front of the bike race. Here we go. Now they open it up. Alexis will drop off Kendall. Kendall looks like she's going to try and drop off Lisbeth Salazar. See if Salazar can come around or if Kendall Ryan will be able to hold it from 300 meters out. Legion is going to go 1 and 2. And I think Salazar got there on the line. Wow. I think Salazar is going to get the win tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, your top three: Van Dam, Ryan, and Salazar.
This is American bike racing. This is what bike racing is in America. It is crits. There's fast, speed. It's like this draws people in. It's engaging. You don't get to see this anywhere else. And look at where we are. We're in Anniston, Alabama, and these people are just so excited on this. It's great. This is awesome.
I'm Kelly Sam, and I am the owner and founder of LA Sweat. So someone from the outside of the cycling scene thinks of an owners are going to think of NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball, hockey, any of those things where the owner isn't really that involved in the day-to-day, whereas cycling is such an underfunded sport in the U.S. that a lot of owners are also all of the other things. They don't just found the team and then hire out staff. People wear a lot of hats. So I like to call it a full-time job that doesn't pay a salary.
We are in Grafton, Wisconsin, day 3 of Tour of America's Dairylands, stop 4 of the ACC series. As a director, my responsibilities are more than just your normal director. I'm also the team owner, founder, logistical manager, sponsorship coordinator. So my responsibilities today on race day are to make sure my riders have everything they need: ice socks, water, all of the things to make their day as easy as possible. And then I will be in the pit to direct them on the radio during the race.
The radio? We all have our own radios.
We're just going to redo this. Okay. Here, hold. I have lots more pins ready. Great, we're going to need them. I wanted to go. Yeah. Okay.
Monica, check.
Here. Important director things. A chair for yourself.
Why should people care about crit racing?
Because it's fun. It's so spectator friendly. Yeah, it's super spectator friendly. It's easy to get to. It's usually, in neighborhoods. Whole communities can rally behind it. It can benefit businesses. It's fun to watch. Yeah.
Crit racing is a special little sort of niche form of cycling and bike racing. It's really community focused. So because we're not racing these long distances, fans are able to come out, watch the race for hours on end, meet people in their communities, look at local businesses they might not see. Local businesses can come out. If it's a restaurant, food trucks, it's more of a block party than it is just a bike race.
They're very frozen right now.
Oh man, I think I broke that one. Yeah, I did.
I'm a sweater. I put the sweat in LA Sweat. So yeah, just keep the body temp down. Crit racing's like the NASCAR of cycling. It's way more fun.
Of cycling.
Oh, it's F1. It's way more fun than I think any other racing discipline. Like Monica mentioned, like whole communities get behind it. They raise money for Preems. They raise money for advertising and stuff like that, or for different organizations. And it's so much more spectator friendly. Like you can walk around the course and see the race from much different angles. You can find a favorite rider, cheer them on. There's the races within the race, like the Preem laps. Those are super exciting. Honestly, and then it's the working person's race. Like a lot of people, we all have full-time jobs. We're all able to work full-time, but still train enough for crits. And because most of the time they happen at night under the lights, it's way more epic. It's really cool.
What's special about crit racing and having a team, and specifically a women's only team, is for me personally, just the sort of satisfaction and fulfillment I get from being able to provide top level racing opportunities to women from 5 different countries.
I know that this might be a shock, but crit racing is not that glamorous.
Crit racers are like the road dogs of the world. They are week in, week out traveling. The life of a crit racer is not an easy one.
MTV Cribs Crit Life Edition. I got a couch that is doubling as a dresser. I got a closet area that I'm clearly not using because my stuff is on the couch. I got 2 beds, so you can see that I slept in this one last night. And then I'm gonna sleep in this one tonight because why not? A little sink, a bathroom that kind of smells like someone flushed a salad down the toilet. I got this chair if I wanted to do some work, which I probably should do, but I won't. This is the life of a professional crit racer. Just in some sort of tech park in the middle of nowhere, getting ready to go on a bike ride. It's probably gonna be real scenic.
Day in the life of a crit racer, it is perfectly encapsulated by a reel I saw recently of a cat laying on its back, just completely conked out during the day, and then just running circles and literally bouncing off of the wall at like 9 p.m. at night.
Life as a crit racer is not glamorous 99% of the time. All of that being said, they work towards that 1%, that feeling of winning a race keeps driving them. Oftentimes they're staying in host housing. They don't even get a hotel. They're living in someone's basement or a spare room.
I mean, host housing, they're so fundamental for teams, especially, at this level where funding isn't as, nearly as diverse as it is on, the world tour level, for example. Our Tulsa family, host family, we've stayed with them for 9 years? And they come visit us at races, like outside of Tulsa. So yeah, it's kind of like a family away from home.
LA Sweat! LA Sweat! LA Sweat! LA Sweat! LA Sweat! LA Sweat!
I do host housing for the team, specifically this team because I'm friends with Kelly. We don't really host anyone else throughout the year. I always think it's cool that
The few professional athletes that my kids are close to are females, because I have a son and 2 daughters, so that's always been really cool to me. Like in their mind, and as it should be, like when they think of like the ultimate best cyclists in the world, their first thought's always going to be like females.
I'm Trish Black. Started riding my motorcycle in bike races, and I am lucky enough to be able to do this at the highest level of the sport in the United States. And I love giving back to the sport. I've raced for years, and I think this is such an important thing for the sport to be able to go out here and have spectators, have a crowd, have people cheering, have people acknowledging what you're doing as an athlete. And I love being able to be a part of that and make that happen. The fans look at this as a day to be outside watching the bike racers. And then as the day goes on, you get the elite women and the elite men at the end of the day. And the speed picks up. They're going 30 miles an hour. The fans are cheering. It's just fun.
My dad was paralyzed when he was 18 from a car accident, and he was a really avid sportsman before that. His whole family sailed and skied, and he just kept doing that. He was an adventurer. He always had a story. So cycling was always a fun thing that my dad and I did together. And he, was a hand cycler. He lived very much in the moment. And I lost him when I just turned 14. It was like a few days after my birthday. After he passed away, I went through a pretty rough time. I really struggled a lot, really anxiety-based disorders, feeling like my life was out of control. In college, after getting a really bad shoulder injury, I was like, I should take up cycling again. Like, my dad and I love to do that. I love to be outside. Like, I know that he would love if I did that. So after my recovery, I bought a road bike, and it was just immediate. When I'm at a bike race, I just know that he would be on the sidelines screaming the loudest, and he used to just clap his hands together and go like this a lot. That was like how he signified that he was really stoked on something, and he had so much stoke. And so I just know that he would be really stoked on it and really happy that I was doing this. I try to keep his memory alive and carry that light forward by having fun and staying in the moment.
It's gonna hurt. Just wait. She crashed.
What happened there? One of our riders went down turn number 2. Looks like she broke her finger. Set it into place, got her back out. She's tough as hell.
Robin Carpenter shepherding Corey Williams up there. Reinhard Jan Sven Rensburg also in the mix. He's going to try and hold off. Oh, and down goes Williams. Big tumble for Corey Williams. He loses the wheels out from underneath. And
the potential of crashing, of course, is part of the thrill of any type of racing. It's one of the wild cards of this sport, and it's one of the things that make it so unpredictable. And that's what keeps us coming back. But Criterium racers have this incredible ability to just get back up and get back into the race. And I think that's one of the amazing things to watch, is seeing what riders go through just in that 1 hour of racing, and then seeing them come back for more the next week after they've just gone down and still covered in road rash, still covered in bandages, but they still get back out there.
Disappointed Corey Williams making his way back through, but nice to see that he is able to get up and at least ride back through.
So it's an unfortunate part of racing, but if you race enough crits, it will happen to you eventually.
After riding horses badly for like 15 years and then bike racing for 7, I had never broken a bone until Memorial Day. I always struggle with like the final laps of a race. I get a little overwhelmed. I get a little bit nervous, and then I just lock up and I don't do anything. I was like, not today. You are doing this. You can, so you will. And in the, we're entering the last lap. I move up in the first 2 corners, and I get to the front of the field, and I look over, and my teammate is next to me, and I have no one in front of me, and I have no one to my left, and I'm like, we about to win this race. And all of a sudden, I am flying through the air, and I knew immediately, had never broken a bone, I knew immediately, I'm like, my collarbone is broken. So I broke it on a Monday. I got a surgical referral through my work on a Wednesday, and I was under the knife on Friday. And yeah, I mean, a week later, I was on the trainer, riding indoors. I had gone from sitting at the back of the ambulance, looking out of the window and being like, why do any of us do this? You know, after my surgery, a couple days go by, you know, I start remembering my whys for racing. And they still resonated. And I'm like, well, if they still resonate, then I'm gonna recommit to this endeavor. And so that was the major silver lining, was the recommitment to this life, because it's still what I wanna do now. I am energized by all the travel and by going to all these places and by the stress of it all. That is energizing still. And so I touched down in Salt Lake 6 weeks to the day, and I was racing, and honestly, it felt like I had never left. It was incredible.
I've raced races like Paris-Roubaix, and then I've also raced Athens Twilight. And honestly, I think from a goosebumps standpoint, I've probably gotten more goosebumps racing in front of the thousands of fans that show up to Athens or Tulsa or Littleton.
This is amazing. It's like Crit Coachella. It's awesome.
Why we love crit racing? Because it's a bunch of beautiful women on bikes. It's so fun. The atmosphere here is like incredible.
You can inspire so many people. You can connect with people from all over the world.
So I think you're just in for a really, really enjoyable time and see some really awesome athletes like compete and do something that they love. Like nothing beats that.
People should care about crit racing because I think it is American bike racing. It gets people excited about bikes. It really kind of opens people's eyes who maybe don't ride a bike or who don't know a cyclist, you know, to the fact that we're out there.
It's one of the very few sports that you can do well into life. You see people riding until they're, 90 plus years old, and I think that that's the beauty of cycling in general. So whether it's crit racing or road racing or track racing, I think as a whole, America should care about bike racing.
Once I saw my first Criterium race, I absolutely fell in love. It was the most exciting thing that I had ever seen, and what was supposed to be a job very quickly became a passion. And ever since then, I've been chasing that same feeling, that feeling of seeing my first crit race and being glued to that fence and looking down at the final corner. It's something that I chase every weekend, and still to this day, I still get chills down my back and still get goosebumps in those last few laps of a crit race.
People should care about crit racing because if they care about this country and they care about bike racing and they want something unique and special to the US, that is Criterium racing. There's nobody else does it. And it's just, I don't really know what else to say about it. Crits are fucking awesome. And if you don't know what a crit is or you've never done one, you should come out and do one.
One thing you do not fucking do is quit. Very excited.
To your new winner, but
check out this guy.
I think it was Thursday this week. I didn't eat at all. I had high 2 and like 5 coffees. This is not good nutritional advice.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our podium for IU Health Momentum Indy. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next year.
That's how bike racing happens.